Hello, my name is Jake. Welcome back to A Few Big Short. Merry Christmas Eve. I built a few Christmas related things and I just want to talk about them real quick. I'll be brief because I'm sure you have other things you also need to do for the rest of the holidays. So let's get into it. Just want to talk about these things while they still have some relevance. So one of the first things I made was more habitats. So these are for the habitat challenge, as I usually do. One of the biggest ones they do is the Christmas one. I think that's probably right up there with the number of people that participate with the Halloween. In my opinion, I don't know the actual numbers, but my opinion, I think those are the two most participated in ones. So I had to join in on this one. So this was a pretty standard habitat challenge for them. It was 3 habitats and then all stacked together on the 4th day. And you just take a picture for each day showing off your habitat. Sometimes for these, as I've talked about before, I like to do like a theme throughout. Apart from the like big main theme of holidays, of course, in this case. For mine, I decided to do the Polar Express. I've watched this movie probably every year since it came out, and now I'm watching it with my kids. So we just finished watching it, and I thought, those make some good habitats. So the first one, I did Billy in the present factory, or whatever it was called. It's him and his big present. The walls themselves are pretty simple, just gray, because looking at the factory itself, that's kind of what it is. They have some depth to them in the movie, but given the space I have, it's kind of hard to kind of replicate that. I'm sure I could do it if I gave myself more time, but I never do. So this is what we got. So we just have Billy standing on the conveyor belt that he's on when he finds his present labeled for him, and he chases it down the conveyor belt. And there's a little door there that he dives through to get back to the rest of the chute in the factory and stuff. Yeah, so that was fun. I think that really turned out. I think the biggest thing that gave this one away as to what it is probably Billy's present. If I didn't include that, I don't know if it would have been as readable. It's hard to say. You'll have to tell me. But I think that was a good inclusion on my part. For all of these, I had to do custom figures to try and convey the characters from the movie. I think Billy is the best. He kind of matches the most. The rest I had some hard time just getting things that worked. I think I did okay, but you know, they're not perfect. For the next one, I did the hero girl. Didn't really have names, so that's what she goes by in the credits. I tried to do the North Pole and all of the buildings they have there when they're trying to get out of the train and just wandering through the empty streets because everybody's in the square. I really wanted some transparent yellow bricks here, but it turns out I have exactly 2. So solid yellow it was. All in all, I think it turned out okay. I would have loved to do better cobblestone, because this is fine, but I didn't really have a lot of pieces to work with that. Probably could have thought of something, but again, this is what I ended up with, so there she is. And then for the last one, of course, I did the hero boy, and he's sitting on the train. So I tried to convey the train as best I could, with, you know, a window, a big seat that he's in. He's holding the bell, and there is the loudspeaker. I don't know what that's called. And I just tried to give some detail that kind of matched the train a bit, and hopefully convey the train. So yeah. So those 4 got stacked together for the final day. They didn't really do much stacked together, but that's how it ends up. They don't, you know, they stand on their own pretty much, but they go together as a theme. And that's what I wanted, and that's what I ended up getting. So turned out. I do love the habitat challenges, and most of these, like the Halloween and holiday ones, are usually pretty predictable because they're going to happen every year. So that would mean I could give myself more time, but I usually don't. Sometimes it's really just hard to just call on my brain for ideas for these things, and it just has to happen when it happens. So that's pretty much how this one went. I watched the movie and went, that's the thing I'll do the day before. But I'm still glad I got to participate, so that's those ones. And like I mentioned in my last video, the other Christmas thing I was going to participate in, again this year, was the 24 Days of Brickmas. This is basically like a prompt a day kind of thing, and it almost acts like an advent calendar of building. So there's a word or phrase for every single day for the first 24 days of December. Now last year, as mentioned in my last video, I made this big scene that contained all 24 things. And this year, I tried to do something similar, where I made one big thing. I did it a little different. is big. So I ended up making a bunch of mini habitats that kind of contained every prompt. I started off by planning this out in Bricklink just to kind of see how it would stack up and how many little tiny habitats I would actually need. Also help with figuring out the proper bricks. I played with the idea first of just alternating red and green, but then I kind of realized when I was done with it, it looked kind of like a tree. So I just made it all green. I decided to add for the final day a very tiny habitat made of gold to be kind of more like a star on top. And will you? Talk about this in a second. So the next thing I had to do there was actually find all of the green parts. I did not have that many at all. So I started by going to the Lego store, tried to find some just on the pab wall. I looked out last year and found lots of white for my scene last year. I did not find many green this year. I found some snot bricks, so I grabbed a bunch of those because those could be useful for other things otherwise. But other than that, I had to end up actually ordering pieces from Bricklink. I ordered them before December started, but they actually didn't get here until December 8th. So luckily, I had all of those snot bricks I just bought and kind of made up a habitat with those and just built on that and took what I made off of it and then made the next one. And then when I eventually had all of these pieces, just rebuilt them. With these being so tiny, the idea of course was to quickly convey the prompt in a small and concise manner that was hopefully easy to tell what was happening. So the prompts were red, snowman, song, fire, yeti, winter sports, tree, snow, gingerbread, green, train, penguin, Mrs. Claus, candle, blue, star, ugly sweater, toys, sweet treats, lights, present, deck the halls, white, and Santa. Normally I would have added the shutter sound for each picture I put up, but I don't want to do that to you 24 times. So you notice some of these, in order to actually get this proper shape, had to be more than just one habitat, and I think that turned out okay. I knew that going into this, but I didn't also really plan which ones until I got there. So it just kind of had to work out the way I did it. So I did some good planning, but not enough planning. So it is what it is. The other thing with some of these, as a whole, this is a fun looking thing because it's a tree with a bunch of stuff happening that's most of it very Christmas looking. But some of these, I don't know if they necessarily read what the word is without the context of the challenge. And again, for the challenge itself is fine, but like Yeti, for example, I don't have a Yeti minifigure nor anything similar. So I thought it'd be funny to actually have him just hold out a thermos and call it the brand Yeti. And that's funny. But if you don't know the word of the day for that is Yeti, the joke is kind of lost. Same thing kind of with white. Obviously white, the most common thing people are gonna do is some sort of snow. So I kind of went with that, but then twisted it a little and it's a dog peeing in the snow. So I just, in my post for it, you know, I made a little joke about just avoiding any snow that isn't white. It's funny in the thing, but I don't know if it conveys the word without the context. But yeah, whatever. They did what they were supposed to do for the challenge themselves, I think, so. One thing I should have planned better with these is actually like lining the top of each with tiles and then minimal connection points. In a lot of like modular buildings, you'll see that, and that's usually for access because, you know, you can pop it off because it's only connected in 4 spots or so. It's usually what I end up doing with habitats. You know, they only get a few connection points, and that's makes it easier to put on or take off. I did not do that for this, and I absolutely should have. Because that basically just meant the entire row had to be connected all at once. And it was very kind of hard to put this together, to stack the whole thing. I thought, you know, well, when it's done, I'll just put them all together and then I have a tree. No, it took probably 20 minutes to get them all together and not try and crash the whole thing down. I'm honestly surprised I didn't break anything, and like nothing severely fell apart. A few things that are like not attached fell off, but whatever. Like the wreath for green. That thing, that looks cool and all, but my goodness, does that make a lot of sound when it's just sitting on the desk, just bouncing everywhere. So yeah, this was interesting to actually put together as a whole, and it's gonna be interesting to take apart, and I hope everything survives, because I actually did have a plate break in the process. I had 3, I think, studs on here, and I just tried to take them off with a regular brick separator, and I broke a stud off the plate. I don't think I've ever done that before. This is not, you know, fragile old brown, it's green. So that's weird, and hopefully the rest of these survive, because obviously owning this many green things would be helpful. And generally when I buy plates in bulk like this, just to be like, here's my project and I'll take it apart, you know, they're going to be useful somewhere down the line. So there's, if they hopefully survive, so they can continue to be useful. The one theme I'm sure you'll notice from any of my videos on these kind of things is there's a time frame for things, and they're well announced to give me loads of time to work on them, and then I just don't. So I tried with this one. I thought I ordered the parts in time. I obviously didn't get them in time, and then I thought after that I was just gonna build a bunch of little tiny scenes and have them all ready, take all the pictures ahead of time and just post them on the day. No, most of the time I was building the day of or the day before quickly, and just how it went. I did try. I had some time set aside on the weekend, and I built all of the rest of the little habitat pieces. I had them all set. But then from there, making all the scenes, I got stuck on some that I didn't know what to do. Like train, for one reason, took me a long time to come up with something that looked like a train at that size. So, I sat down that day and I was like, I'm gonna make a train, and I'm gonna make the next one, and then a bunch more, and I'll get ahead of things. I pretty much just made train that day. So, like I said earlier, sometimes I can't really command the creativity. It just has to happen when it happens. Hopefully that's something I can work on and learn. So yeah, that was the big one for the end of the year. And again, it was the second year I did it, and I'm happy again I did something where it was like incorporated as one whole thing, but each thing kind of works on their own. I'm sure I'll do the same thing next year. Hopefully I'll give myself more time to do it, but it turned out. But that is actually all I had for today. I just want to talk about those 2 things I did for the holidays real quick. I'm probably not gonna make another long video until next year, because you can still say that joke. But I'm sure I'll post some shorter stuff here and there until then. So you enjoy the rest of your holidays, and I will see you next time.